Chris. Hey, congratulations on your new documentary, Satisfied.
Thank you so much, Gig. I appreciate that.
More of a congratulation is just got showcased at Tribeca Film Festival, one of the most prestigious film festivals in the world. I mean, how do you feel about that?
Relieved. You work so hard on a film. This has been 4 years in the making, and absolutely love Renee. So wanted to make sure that we were able to showcase this film on a stage that was commiserate with her level of talent, and she's just an amazing human being. So we were great. It's my first time at Tribeca, and it was a blast. Being at the Beacon Theater for our world premiere was incredible.
That does sound incredible. So tell us, what sparked you to do this documentary on Renee?
Yeah, so Gig, it happened. My last film, A Secret Love, that was on Netflix, premiered in 2020, and I was looking for my next project. And my dear friend Kelly O'Hara, who's a Broadway star in her own right, Tony Award-winning actress, her and I were talking about what my next project might be, and she mentioned we should consider doing something about mothers juggling on Broadway. I had been done Broadway national tours myself, and I was a parent, and so I understood from the male perspective what that was like. And of course, Kelly being a mom brought that perspective. And so we spoke about it and we kind of tabled it for a little bit. And then, 2020, every lockdown happened, and there was a tap class being taught on my front lawn. And Kelly came over with her daughter to to bring her for this tap class, and also brought Renee and Renee's daughter Brielle. And so Renee and Kelly were talking, and Hamilton was about to launch on Disney Plus, and Renee was telling Kelly that she had all this behind the scenes footage, and that she had wished that she had done more with it, and that she was just going to put it all on Instagram. And Kelly said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, wait a second. Me and Chris had been talking about this project, and it sounded like Renee's story, as they were talking, might lend itself to this documentary that we were kind of talking about before we even met Renee." So, long story short, Kelly introduced me to Renee. We spoke. We hit it off. After a series of conversations, Renee said bluntly, "Do you want to direct this or not?" And I said, "Absolutely." And so we started in earnest. And 4 years later, here we are.
It doesn't sound like it was very much to convince Renee to basically partake in your film at all.
I don't think she knew what she was getting into, to be quite honest. It is, she's done a ton of film and television, but narrative is very different than documentary. So, yeah, it was a lot, and with her busy schedule, but she throughout the whole process, she was so supportive. And honestly, the amount of trust that she had, I would go over to her house, Gig, and she would just give me boxes of photos. She would give me her hard drive with pictures. She'd just be, "Here, take it, just take it." So I had all this stuff. So she was very trusting, very loving. And what I loved about her is that she didn't want it to be a vanity project, nor did I. We wanted to be an honest, authentic story of a woman, a mother, going through this thing called Hamilton. But Hamilton was just a vehicle. It was about her personal journey. And she really stayed true to that, which I really appreciated as a director.
Now, one of the things I found fascinating about this type of story is you portray the family side very, very, very well, especially on how she wanted to balance Broadway and also have kids at the same time. But one of the touchful subjects is miscarriages, and
Yeah.
miscarriages is very, very private, and a lot of women don't want to talk about that. So, how did you want to approach that, and why was she willing to speak about the issue of miscarriage?
Yeah, Gig, that's a great question. And you're right. A lot of people, it's taboo. I think it's society and the culture that has prevented women from feeling the freedom to talk about these things. And so we wanted to change that, as did Renee. So I have to give a huge amount of credit to her. When I met her again, I said, I don't want this to be a vanity project. I'm not interested in that. I don't want it to be a biography. If you want that, go somewhere else. She was like, "I don't want that. It's important for me to share my story so that other women can relate, and they can see that it's okay to talk about it." So we were both very aligned with that. And as we brought the team, more people on board the team, everybody was aligned with that, which we were very fortunate, including Amblin. When Amblin came on board, it was like, "Oh my God, I've got Steven Spielberg's company. This is like, pinch me. This is crazy." But you also worry that they're going to want to make it, maybe perhaps take out those parts. And to their credit, they were like, no, we love that part of our story. We love that angle into it. Keep it. So really fortunate to have the team that we had surrounding this, and really fortunate for Renee being as open as she was to talk about it.
And not to mention, you also included that the husband who's always side by side with her and telling that side of the story too, which is also very touching.
He makes all of us husbands look totally inadequate. He's amazing. Yeah. And I was like, Alexis, is there anything like, I went through it too. My son's mother was on Broadway for 10 years and I was at home with the baby. And, there were moments where I was like, boy, this is tough. But Alexa just would smile and be like, no, I love every moment of it. He's a wonderful guy. We wanted to showcase that too, because, Renee couldn't have done this without him and the partnership that they have.
So how long did you actually ended up following her, through the journey? I understand, like you said, it happened, what, 2020, right before it came out on Disney Plus. But how much did you actually follow her?
A lot. In between her busy shooting schedule, she's was developing a new album, Girls Five Ever on Netflix, which was on Peacock before. I mean, she's got concerts every weekend. I mean, she's a very successful, busy woman. But every break that she had, we took opportunities to film. So we filmed nonstop between 2020 and 2024. B-roll, filling in some of the holes that we needed, interviews, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, it was constant. That's what I said. I don't think she realized what she was getting for, you know. Yeah.
Now, how did you archive all of her old footage in the end? That must have been a lot of behind the scenes footage, a lot of private moment footage, photos, and so on. That must have been a lot of research.
Yeah, we had like 6 terabytes of archival. And so I have to give a huge shout out to our incredible archival producers who, went through and scanned and organized and coded every piece of archival. And my editors, like they are just, I always say that the editors are the unsung heroes of every film. They are incredible. And this film would not be what it is without Ruella Roof, who's my co-editor, and Mickey Watanabe Milmore, my editor. Incredible women, incredible editors in their own right, and organized all of this stuff, sifting through it to try to tell this story, the personal journey as well as the professional journey from 2014 through 2016.
I
Yeah.
know a lot of people do appreciate all that Hamilton that you actually put in there, and not to mention all the Hamilton interviews about her that you got to people to speak out on her, which is terrific,
Yeah.
showcasing who she really is in real life.
Yeah, it was great. We obviously, felt like we couldn't tell the story without Lin-Manuel Miranda talking a little bit about Renee, which was great. And Ariana DeBose was fantastic and really looked up to Renee when she was playing the bullet in the show. And now Ariana is a star in her own right. So yeah, it was great to have them. And we just wanted to make sure we struck a balance, that we wanted to make sure it didn't turn into a talking head documentary gig. We wanted to be character driven, basically, really, really following Renee. So just putting the interviews in there that we needed and not populating it with stuff that we didn't, because we could have had every famous person on the planet in this. Oprah loves Renee, the Obamas, as you saw, love Hamilton. I mean, we could have kept going and going and going, but it would have been a very different documentary. So I'm happy with the angle that we took on this one.
Most excellent. Now, what's coming up next for you after Satisfied? And are we going to see Satisfied at more film festivals?
Yeah, well, it's going to be at Nantucket Film Festival this weekend, and we've been approached by several others, and we're just waiting to see what we're going to do. We're also in the midst of finding a partner to distributor. So hopefully, we'll have some exciting news for you soon. It'll be coming to a streamer near you. Um, and then in terms of other projects, my last film is Secret Love. I worked with Ryan Murphy and Jason Blum. I really want to turn that documentary into a narrative Hollywood feature film. So that's something I have been thinking about for about 4 or 5 years, if not longer. And then I'm also working on another documentary right now called Rainbow Railroad with Alex Gibney. Um, and that is about refugees from Afghanistan escaping LGBTQ persecution. So something totally different, but something very, very important to me. It's, the social justice of these people. Their stories are incredible.
Absolutely, absolutely. And how did you settle out of all the songs from Hamilton? How did you settle as satisfied, especially for with the title?
Well, that's a two-prong answer, Gig. Part of it was just cost. Lynn was extremely generous, and he wrote most of the songs solo, right? But some of them he did samples with other artists, and once you get into that and needing clearances from that, the price tag goes through the roof. So we stuck to the stuff that Lynn wrote exclusively by himself, and then also obviously Satisfied is the big number. It's her number, and it's what got her the Tony win. You see her astounding talent, and it's also it's a metaphor for different parts of her life. That's Satisfied. It has many meanings, that song, both professionally and personally. So we thought it was it's just very synergistic being able to have that as the title and also have it, her sing that song in the film.
Well said. Well, let me wrap it up with one last question. As audiences have a chance to watch it in more film festivals and hopefully you get distribution to it, what is the one most important take you hope they walk away with after watching your documentary?
Oh, it's a great question. I think it's important for, Kelly O'Hara and Renee and I, when we first met, started this whole process together, we just wanted to shed a light on a corner, shine a light on a topic that's often not discussed with women. As we said before, taboo miscarriages, and also trying to show the world that, men are celebrated for going for their shot. There's that song in Hamilton, "Not going to give up my shot," right? We're celebrated. Men are celebrated for that. Women are not. Women are celebrated for sacrifice. And even in Hamilton, Renee's character sacrifices her love of Alexander Hamilton for her sister, right? So we want to show the world that it's okay for women to go after their dreams, their professional dreams, as well as pursue a family, a personal dream. And those things are perfectly doable and okay to ask for, and that you don't need to feel guilty because you're a woman and a mother of wanting those things, because men don't. There's a double standard here, and we're trying to show that doesn't need to be the case.
Well said, Chris. I enjoyed this conversation with you about your new documentary, Satisfied. It is a feel good documentary, and I never knew the stuff that Renee went through and the balances in her life. So, Chris, thank you very much for this conversation. Hopefully, we get to do this again.
Gig, it's a pleasure meeting you. Thank you so much.